Hello, everybody, and happy Easter if you're celebrating Easter today. I apologize for the delay, and for the delay, there's gonna still be a little bit of a delay more because it's like the whole world went nuts. No, there is no Zul. Okay. But yeah, I got caught up in the whole gardening thing, and I didn't realize that I skipped my kratom until I started hurting. And then I was like, there's no way that I can sit on a chair properly. And then to top everything up, right after, so I took my kratom. After about 10 minutes, I'm like, let me go there and get my stuff ready. And the phone started ringing, and the doorbell started sounding. And I mean, it's like, are you people, this is Easter Sunday. What are you doing? So, hi Jeannie, hi Brenda, hi Becky, hi Lane, hi Arlena, Sharon, Judy, Mistress Mink. Okay, who else is here I didn't see? Sharon, Sue, Laura Lynn, Patty, and that's it. Happy Easter. So yeah, I'm gonna still have to get some of this scrap clay through the machine because, as I said, crazy people. And not only that, but out of everything I ordered, I'm getting for the cats, there's one of the newer brands of the Fresh Step. No, it puts me all in stressed out. I mean, I'm all stressed out. I didn't even manage to put any kind of makeup on or anything. I look like crap. But as I said, I was in the garden, okay? Anyway, what I wanted to say is that I use for my cats, that's hi Ramona, hi Kazimi. That's one of the Fresh Steps that's called Clean Paws. Because if you had ever long-haired cats, you know that they have those fuzzies between their toes. So that means that the litter is going to stick to that. So whenever they jump out of the litter box, they're gonna trail litter all over the place. And let me just work on this while I'm talking to you. And I prefer that Clean Paws thing because it reduces the amount of litter that they trail, because out of the 3, 2 are long-haired. And the thing is that because it's so much better, because it is very heavy. So guess what? Right when time before last, when I was heading towards the craft room, the doorbell rings again, and guess what? It's the Amazon driver with my 40 pounds of cat litter that I had to pull and push and try to get into the house, and then to discover that the bottom was wet. So I went real quick and took photos of that because I didn't want to risk that it would get dry by the time I finished the live, so I can get a refund on it. Because I'm kind of sure that the one at the bottom is not good anymore. Anyway. No, I don't. I saw at a friend the Fresh Step crystals, and it's not a good thing for me. Especially considering that I have to watch Finnegan's urine output. And it's very easy to figure out with because it's a super clumping, the Clean Paws. And he has, what you see there, it's his own personal litter box. It's the 3rd litter box in the house. He can go in the other 2, but in this one, he's the only one who goes in. The other 2 don't fit. So I have to see how much he pees. So yeah, they are eating the uretic formula of Ysong, and then a hairball formulation that also has the D-L-methionine. that's anyway. So let's get back to the whole thing now. If you missed my live yesterday, the monthly chat, I announced that PolyClay Play is going to use it's going to sell Cernit, and then there's Pardo also coming. Now Trish also has some Pardo left over, and with Pardo the thing is that, and I showed you before, it can be like 15-20 years old and it can still be worked with, and it's not a big deal. All you need to do is to slightly warm it up a little bit more than the regular Pardo, but as long as you slice it thin, you can use it without a problem and condition it and use it. So because she's getting new Pardo, she still has a little bit of it left, so she's doing a big sale on it. So if you go to PolyClay Play, and I'm gonna put here my affiliate link, and I'm going to give you the coupon, which is very simple. It's Pardo, P-A-R-D-O, all in capital letters, 2021, and you can get 15% off. That's going to be valid of through next Sunday, so it's going to be for a week going on. And what she still has, let me get here and show you, because she still has quite a bit of it. Let's go to clay. She started already listing the Cernit, as you can see. She's working on it. There's a lot of it, and she's got the new metallic colors, and I'm going to post soon a tutorial on that. She's got all those beautiful metallic colors, but as I said, remember that there's a lot of colors with Cernit. So if you're looking for something and you don't see it yet, that means she didn't manage to list it yet. But when it comes to Pardo, she still has some translucent, and that is a number and the red last time I looked. She has a few colors of the art clay. Now the art clay is great for canes, and she's got a few colors. She's got copper of the metallics, and she still has the orange and the red in the translucents. So if you want to load up on any of those, go ahead and use that coupon, and you're gonna save some money. Now remember with the Pardo that you need to condition it in a specific way, and I did a while ago a couple tutorials on how to condition Pardo, because it's conditioned differently than the other clays. Let me find it. Where's my main? So this is actually a live that I did when Trish sent me a return from somebody who said that oh, that's not a good clay, it's half baked. And she sent it to me and she was like, is she for real? Is the clay really baked? And so I went on live and I showed how no, it is just properly done. Now where is the, let me try with condition, because it doesn't come up with Pardo. Oops, condition. Okay. So this is how to condition it. It was a semi-live, I mean, not really alive, but it's not super edited or anything. They are both, Pardo or Cernit are the best for doing for gemstones and flowers, especially because they have this diaphanous thing. I did do a Cernit Metallics review, not on the new ones. On the new ones I'm still working on it, but I did an unboxing and I discussed them. Give me a second, I'll link it for you. No, it's the unboxing of the new colors. The thing with the Cernit Metallics is that most of them, and I explained that before, when you have a metallic / pearlescent clay, what you need to look is if the color of it is done using a mica powder or a mica pigment. What's the difference between a mica powder and a mica pigment? The mica powder is, the mica is colored that way, and honestly you will not really find natural mica that is colored differently than silverish goldish. All the colored mica powders are synthetic. Go away. But when the color of the pearlescent / metallic is done using a pigment, then the color of the mica will be different than the color of the clay. And let me grab real quick this. If you look, the best example is the teal in the Cernit Metallics. Give me a second to refocus my camera. Yes, this is a teal. The all cameras that are used for tutorials do shift a little bit, but nevertheless you'll be able to see. Let me turn this to warm. Maybe it will show better. But as you can see, the mica itself is goldish. It is not the color of the clay itself. So these specific clays, and the same goes for the green and for the rust and for everything, the mica color is not the color of the clay. Okay, so in other now it depends on what you're trying to do with those pearlescent / metallic clays. If you're doing mica shift and other stuff is just fine, but if you're trying to do specific for gemstones, then it's not going to work that good. When it comes to the quality, specifically I'm talking about quality whenever you're trying to do any kind of faux material like mother pearl or let's say a faux petersite, a faux tiger's eye, and so on and so forth. If the mica particles are too large, it's going to be very flagrant that it's not a real thing. You need something that has much smaller mica particles, and in this respect I still say that the best is Pardo. Unfortunately, Pardo doesn't have that many fully pearlescent colors. A lot of the colors in the Pardo jewelry are mildly pearlescent, but not enough to give enough of the chatoyance that is needed in certain gems. But yeah, it's going to be great. Another thing is that I am going to receive. I got. They are sending me a box with samples of. Let me find it. Of that Papa's clay, and I'm going to do a collaboration. I announced it yesterday. That's going to be with, you know, with people from them. So I should be getting it tomorrow. So I'm going to do all my testing to see how good it is when it comes to pretty much everything, you know, canes, flexibility, durability, and they don't have pearlescence. Okay, so some translucent of what kind, what brand are we talking about? As I think that she already has the Cernit translucent. Let me see if she listed it yet. Yes, she listed them. They are not yet. She didn't update yet her her quantities, but yes, she does have Cernit translucent. The Premo, I don't know, it was supposed to be this past week. It's hopefully going to be this coming week, but Scalpi is really behind on anything, and the Pardo we are looking at about a month. So Cernit, she has it, she just didn't update them yet. She should be getting them within a day or two. So, but yeah, Papa's clay doesn't have the pearlescence, the translucence, the stuff. It's just pure colors. I'm going to have to see exactly what they are. Some of the colors to me looked a little bit too, I don't have any other word than garish, but some of the colors are really nice and pleasant. So I guess we'll just have to see how that goes. Now let's work on our crucifix. And you see, I'm starting with different batches of mud clay, which the brown, the muddy hue will be different because it depends on what colors you had in there to mix. It's always mud, but you never know what kind of mud. Leave it like this. You don't have to make it a full color, even color. So I went with it through the machine several times just to get it, you know, properly, more even piece of. And then I'm going to, because I'm going to use a tile, a regular tile, but I don't want to bring it here because it's going to take too much room. So I'm going to put it on wax paper. Now remember, the wax paper generally, most of it, some of it does have wax on both sides, but most of it has wax only on one side, and that would be the shiny side, and then the other side is more flat. If you don't want to get any kind of shininess whatsoever, then all you have to do is to place your clay on a non-waxy thing. Okay, now before we do anything, I do have another giveaway, and there's going to be the Easter giveaway. And I did do giveaways before. That meant you going on Facebook and posting what you did out of my tutorials, and sometimes it works for some people and it doesn't work for other people. So I'm going to do actually towards the end, I'm going to there's this site that's called Not Always Right, okay, and it's one of the humorous sites I generally read because it's new postings every day. I generally read in the morning when I drink my coffee, and as I was reading the other day, I was like, oh, that would be an awesome thing to put in for a giveaway. And I'm going to actually read the story and then ask you what you think that customer wanted, okay? But that's going to be very towards the end of the live. So let's get, thank you, Marietta. Yeah, I'm very curious to see the colors myself, you know, live. What I'm going to do to get my where's my thing here? I found Finnegan again on the craft table, so there's some stuff that might not be in place. So I'm going to do just to get, so this is a wall decoration, okay? It's not a pendant, it's not other stuff. So in order to get properly my, so that should be about here. I'm going to put this in 2 layers. Let me get it this way with a lot of care not to trap air between them. And then to get the proper dimension, and I'm not gonna do any kind of measuring. I'm going to just use what I got around the house. Yeah, both Connor and Finnegan love polymer clay. Finnegan, and they both steal my beads. So, okay, number 1. First thing, I have this, but I know that I have one that does not have, I can use it. I can do that with my, so this is going to be my vertical, right? And this is going to be my horizontal. And make sure that you see what I'm doing. I don't need to. Okay. And I'm going to make sure that I have it properly positioned. To make sure that I have it properly positioned, let me use another blade. Okay. I don't need another template, I have this, right? Next I'm going to grab my eyes, and I have something on them. It looks like a kitty paw. Yeah, the only problem is that, as I said, they are long-haired, so I find all kinds of cat hair. Actually, I think without will be better. Now, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfectly perfect, and I'll show you in a second why. You just need to get the general shape. Thank you, yeah, don't forget to thumbs up me. Don't forget to do that. So what has everybody cooked for Easter? Anything good? Anything special? I forgot who posted on Facebook some kind of Easter bunny cross buns. They were little bunnies that were holding an egg and had like a cross over the egg, or some kind of buns. And that, I thought that was a cute idea. Okay, let's get this back in. Okay. Let's get rid of this one too. All right. So now that I have the shape, I can go back in and do a little bit of cleaning. And again, don't sweat it too much because we are going to make it into fake wood. So no worries about that. But yeah, I'm not, as I said before, I'm Eastern Orthodox, so my Easter is going to be on May 2nd. But as most people in the Western world are celebrating Easter today, I thought, why not do something that is holiday themed, right? Okay, so now I have a much better shape to start with. Chicken and dumplings, huh? I was thinking that maybe this Easter, because I still have a nice piece of lamb in my freezer, and I have a ton of green garlic in my backyard. There's a Romanian, it's kind of like a stew, traditional, one of the Romanian traditional Easter things. As I said, it's kind of like a stew. You get green onions and green garlic. In Europe, green garlic is used exactly like green onions. And you just chop those and saute them. And then you put, yeah, for now it looks like chocolate. And then you do the meat, you know, and then you add some tomato and stuff, and it is absolutely delicious. But then again, I'm Romanian and garlic is one of the main ingredients in Romanian cuisine. But that's what I was thinking, that depending on how I feel, if I feel like cooking for Eastern Orthodox Easter, I might make that. Actually need to harvest some of the garlic outside and, you know, braid it. Got years ago, I got some niblets, that's how they are called. The itty bitty. The garlic does exactly like the onion. It makes a flower and then it's got like a pod like thing, and when you open it there's like itty bitty minuscule garlic cloves like inside, and then that's what you put in the ground to get more garlics. So years and years ago I got some German giant purple garlic niblets, because when I still had a cottage garden in my backyard, I was exchanging seeds with a lot of people, especially from Europe, and especially heirloom seeds, so somebody sent me some of those. So initially I had like 10 plants, and then it started spreading. But it makes a great addition to salads and stews and all kinds of things. So first of all, you see what I'm doing, I'm just gently rounding up this a little bit. It doesn't have to be, again, it's not something that has to be perfectly perfect. Just make sure that you do some rounding up so it doesn't look like you have 2 layers of clay when looking from the side. You know, that's the main, you're trying to hide that it's clay. That's our main issue at this point. And you can start using your finger and doing all kinds of these things. But yeah, hopefully soon I'll be able to get back and finish doing and then posting the tutorial with the little fairy house that I'm been working. Yeah, I didn't even eat today. I ate a couple of the keto fat bombs chocolates, and that was about it. So this is good, this is pretty good. The only thing that when you unglue it and then you put it back on the, that's when you have to make sure that you put it back in a relatively, that you don't put it crooked. Okay, so now that we did all that, I'm going to grab one of my needles. Oops, let me find the needle first. And I'm going to make distressed wood stuff. Okay, so it's going to take a little bit of time, and I'm going first to make the lines like if this was the main, right, because you usually have the one that's crisscrossing is the one piece and the one that's vertical is not. Okay, now needle, and that's what you start doing. You're just scratching it and scratching it. And scratch it real good. I will bring it in a close-up and focus on it so you can see exactly how it needs to be scratched, but for now it's kind of like this. You need to have a lot of tiny scratches, one near the other. They don't have to be parallel. They can be, some of them can be deeper, some of them can be more superficial. It's fine. And do the same but in the other direction on the vertical one. Here's the little, hold on, let me do this so I don't mess up and go over, because I don't want vertical lines on the horizontal thing. Okay, and the other way as well. And place it right here. And just keep scratching and scratching and scratching. Make sure that you don't have a lot of surface area doesn't have any of these scratches. You kind of want to go all over the place with them. And as I said, some may be deeper, some may be more shallow. That is just fine. So, getting into, let me zoom. Actually, it's easier to zoom than to try and focus and refocus. This is pretty much how it should look like. And I'm going to stay in semi-zoom a little bit for the next part. Give me just a second, I need to grab my acrylics. And there will be very, very cheap acrylics, the $1, $1.25 kind that you can find at Walmart and any other stores. And I grabbed the white. You can use a white, you can use a light gray, you can look all kinds of other stuff that's in that range, but it is white acrylic. As you can see, it's the cheap stuff. I think this one I got years ago at a sale. I think there still was a Michael's near me at that sale. And I'm going to do the dry rub technique that I've showed before in my tutorials. What does it mean, a dry rub? Is that I'm not going to use fresh acrylic. It's going to be almost completely rubbed off. So I'm going to grab a bit, and you can use, if you want, you can use those sponge brushes, but you know, I always love to work with my fingers. So I got some on my finger, but then I'm going to wipe my finger on the paper towel, and I'm going to get some more, and I'm going to wipe it in about the same spot. The thing is that what I have on my finger has to be almost dry. I mean, a very light coating on my finger. And then I'm going to start applying this here to make it look kind of like distressed wood. When I stopped leaving marks, that's when I need some more. But you don't want a large amount of acrylic on your finger. That's what I'm saying. Don't use completely wet brush paintbrush on it. So it would be pretty much something like this. Now, to give it a little bit even more character, you can use a darker gray, or let me clean my finger, and I'm using alcohol. And by the way, if you're complaining that you are working with acrylic and it doesn't come off and it's a pain to work with all these colors and blah blah blah, I have two words for you: lava soap. That should be something that shouldn't be missing from any crafter's bathroom sink washing area. So I'm going to use, actually, it's called caramel candy, but you can use a darker gray. That's just fine. If I can open it. If I cannot open it, I'm gonna just move on to the next color, and I cannot open it. So let's go to, this is a grayish green, and there's a bunch of them. You can find the sage, you can find like this is avocado, there are some patina greens that are grayish green, so you can use that. And why do I want to put a second color? Because generally distressed wood doesn't have just one color on it. It doesn't distress in just one color, and I need to shake it a little bit more. And the other thing is, if you use more grayish color instead of white, you won't have to do a lot of distressing. But with the white, you don't want to leave it really, really white there. You want to give it a little bit of other color texture. I don't know how to explain it otherwise. And then I'm going to give it some more here. Not enough to make it look green, but again, just enough that that white is not going to be super white by itself. All right, so this should pretty much hit the spot for the first part. Cleaning my finger. Now for the next part, you can use colored clay in the color that you want to use it, or you can still use the scrap clay and then just use acrylic or one of the waxes or whatever else you want to use. Okay. Yes, and the other thing with acrylic, you normally you don't really need to seal it, because it kind of bonds itself to the clay when you bake it. So whenever you use acrylic before baking, you don't really have to worry about anything else. Yeah, Corey, but see, that's the deal. The regular soap doesn't always manage to get off our fingers, especially some acrylics. They can be pretty staining, but if you use lava soap, you have absolutely no problems with that. So let me see, I have close to me the whatchamacallit, the silver thing, and I'm going to grab some of the scrap clay, and I'm going to mix it with a dab of black. Right, so I have this. Give me just a minute. something bit banged. Oh, anyway, so I have a darker, and if you have black, or if you have hematite, or if you have all kinds of stuff, you can use that. So you can use hematite, you can use the Premo graphite. You don't have to use just this. Or for this part, you can use dark green. Okay, so let's first make a string. Yes, I'm going to do the... What am I going to do? We are talking about the crucifix. What goes on the crucifix? Generally, thorns. And for a lot of people, put also roses on the crucifix. So I'm going to make a string. And as usual, I'm using my... Let me get this out of the way a little bit. I'm using first a bead, then I extend it. If you don't manage to do this, always you can use your extruder. For me, as I can make these strings without a problem, it's too much trouble cleaning the extruder for just a few strings. And as I want to go a little bit thinner than this, okay, this shouldn't be too bad. Let me make another string just to have it on hand. All right. Now, while I'm doing this, I'm going to start reading you the story, and then, so yeah, remember, you hold here. This one is actually a little bit too long. You hold here, and then you very gently move down, and you will obtain a very nice and even string, and you can go quite thin. Okay, so I'm going to start reading you the story. And yeah, I recommend you look for the website for Not Always Right, because it's a lot of fun. It's got all kinds of stuff, not just, it's obviously about the customer is not always right, but as they started developing, they've been around for at least 10 years. They started developing, they added not always working, not always related, not always learning, and all kinds of other stuff. But anyway, people post all kinds of stories, about stupid customers, stupid sellers, generally stupid people. Though, stuff that has happened to them. It's not okay, so this happens in a craft store in the US sometime about 12 or 13 years ago, and it's from the sales clerk. Says, I'm stocking Christmas ribbon with a coworker. A customer comes and says, you two ladies look like you can help me. Sure, what do you want to know? I'm looking for a tree. Okay, the trees are in the back of the store under the seasonal sign. No, let me finish. I want a tree. It's circular, but it's a tree. And it's a circle, but it's only a half circle, but it's a tree. And you hang it on your window, and it's a tree and a circle. Okay, I'm going to be repeating this. Okay? Several times until the end. You need to guess what was the customer talking about. And the first one who guesses right gets a $100 gift certificate for PolyClay Play. Okay? So, I'm going to start placing some vines, initially looking fairly randomly. right? No, not a wreath. Let me make sure that I bring my thing back. Make sure that you don't leave any of these vines hanging just by themselves, because they are going to break even if you're very careful. Okay, let's place a couple more. So let's do some also vertically. That's a cat hair here. No, not a wreath and not a door knocker. Okay, don't put them, you know, the vines, don't put them all looking nice and arranged and all that. Just create some really random patterns. Okay, this should be good. Okay, gonna read again the explanation. I want a tree. It's circular, but it's a tree, and it's a circle, but it's only a half circle, but it's a tree. And you hang it on your window, and it's a tree and a circle. No, not a wreath. It's not a wreath. It's not a topiary, and it's not a door knocker. I'm very curious. I figured out from the start what it was, but quite a number of people in the comments figured out. Okay, now to make the thorns, I'm going to get, this is actually a little bit too wide. No, not air freshener. Think about it. It's a circle, but it's a tree, and it's a half circle, and it's a tree, and you hang it on your window. Gonna read it again in a minute or two. In the meantime, I'm making some thorns, so I just cut some of those, some pieces of those strings, and I'm going to gently get them tapered at one end and then add them here. Make sure that they connect with the vine. Elaine 1. Now, Elaine 1, we are talking about a honeycomb paper tree. Let me try and find real quick a photo. So Elaine didn't enter the last two. I told you, when you win something for the next two, you cannot participate again. But after that, you can participate again. And if you don't know how those look like, this is how they look like. This is what the guy was talking about. Okay. So, yeah. Congratulations, Elaine. You know how the whole thing goes. You're gonna... I'm going to tell you. No, I already said Elaine won it. It's a honeycomb paper tree. It's not a tree of life. It's not a... Okay. So I'm going to let you know when your 100 dollars credit appears in your account on PolyClay Play. And yes, I promise you I'm going to make another giveaway next Sunday, okay? Just don't forget, if you want to get some cheaper Pardo, I don't know, now be very careful. I don't know what will be the price, and Trish doesn't know yet either, because she didn't get the full paperwork on the coming Pardo, the Pardo that's coming now from Europe. So I do not know, and I couldn't tell you, and Trish couldn't tell you exactly how much the new Pardo will sell for. So if you want to grab whatever Pardo she still has, use the coupon code Pardo 2021, Pardo in capital letters, PARDO, because she still has some copper, a few colors of the art clay that is great for canes and stuff, and she still has translucent orange and translucent red. And I'm going to put up this week a tutorial with the translucents that you'll be able to make with other colors of translucents as well, but I'm gonna make it with orange and red. Okay, so let's finish this real quick. So just little pieces. But yeah, and if you didn't know, $100 is the when you get the free shipping. So when your order hits $100, you get free shipping with PolyClay Play. Okay. I don't know what's going to be the thing for the next, for Sunday. I mean, for the giveaway. What I was thinking was, and I'm gonna have to be to see exactly how much I managed to do this coming week, because as I said, I do need to do a lot of work in the garden, and some of it I really cannot put it away because our city is quite strict when it comes to the way your, at least your front yard and your house look. And I don't, it's about time for the city inspector to start roaming on the streets, and I don't want to get one of those yellow slips on my door that my yard looks like crap. So, and because, as you know, we had, if you have followed at all my channel and stuff, you know, we had a really nasty ice storm and cold and stuff, about when Texas was without water and electricity and stuff. Some of people here in Oklahoma also were left without, but we didn't go through all the issues Texas went. I guess our grid is way more reliable than theirs. But there was a lot of damage to the gardens. I'm actually quite happy that at least one of my pennies didn't die from the cold. I thought initially that my honeysuckle, the one that goes on one of the posts on my porch, had died, but I start seeing some leaves on it. I think I need to cut it down a lot, but you know. And my daffodils didn't die, my wild hyacinths didn't die. So I need to see what I can do this week. And if I don't manage to do, we're gonna do some resin stuff with real flowers. And if you cannot access real flowers, I'll show you what to get instead of that. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Let's add some wax, and this you don't have to add it before you bake it. You can put, if you use mica, then yeah, especially if you use perfect pearls, you can add it before you bake, but with the wax you don't have to. Hey, just make sure you don't touch the so-called distressed wood too much. You can use gold, you can use any other color, and remember, if you have the, my back is starting to hurt, so that's why I'm not getting up to get the colored Art Alchemy stuff. But remember that there's green, there's beautiful greens and beautiful reds, and you can do all kinds of designs with those Art Alchemy stuff. And I was supposed to bring them on the table, but with all the stuff that happened before, I didn't manage to. Now, you can leave it like this, or last touch, because I've been already on for like an hour and a half, but it's good, you know. I didn't start, my back muscles only now started humming. So I hope I can still do one more of these things. You can add a few roses if you really want. So I'm going to do again a little string, not as thin, and gently taper it, and then cut about equal length. And if I'm cutting equal length, obviously the tapered one will be a little bit smaller, but I'm gonna cut equal length pieces. And you can make a rose or two. That's my eyeglasses. So first thing first, make them into little balls. And I'm going to show you a trick for when you put roses on a surface, because it's going to be a pain in the behind if you try to make first the rose and then place it on the surface when it comes to things like this. Okay, so I'll show you a little trick on how to do this easier for you. Okay, so I got my beads, right, and I'm going to do this and then go on one of the ends and just thin it out a little bit, and let's place it right here. And as I placed it right here, you can even use the other end and just push it in properly. Then I'm going to grab one that's a tiny little bit smaller, and the first one I put it with the convex part up, but this time I'm going to switch it. So again, I thinned out one of the ends, but this time I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to place it kinda like on top of the other one. Then I'm going to grab again one of the larger ones, and one more time thin out the end of it. This time I'm grabbing one of the ends and roll, and then come from above and gently get the ends over. and place it there. Then one more. You can if you want to. Okay, I messed up this one. And then you can start building up the rows as you would do normally. So number one again. Then very gently, because remember it's going to get textured from your hand. And bring this back a little bit, just the end. Place it here. Kind of wrapped around a little bit. One more. And again, bring it back a little bit. Place it here. And gently pull it forward. And just keep going like this. And then when it comes time, as I said, on this one, you shouldn't put the wax on if you're using wax before baking, because it's so thin, it's not going to, you risk deforming whatever you did here, but still, you know, just to, but generally speaking, this is the whole idea. And then you can put any kind of wall decoration hanging thing on the back. You know, there are those little, I forgot how they are called. They are, let me try and find something here. They look like, does this have a thing? They look like this. And then they have two little holes for nails. You don't even need the holes for nails, just simply glue it right here, and then it's going to make a very nice, let me unzoom. It's going to make a very nice crucifix. Of course, you can make it with gold, you can make it with all other colors, right? But it's going to make a very nice wall decoration. And depending on how large your oven is, you can make it even much bigger. I mean, I know my oven is like 16 inches, I think, or 18 inches, or it's one of the larger ones. And I can make pretty good sized stuff in it. So just remember to bake it on something that is flat. If you don't have a tile that this large, just grab one of those a little square pie pans and put it upside down, and then put the wax paper on top of it, and you're going to get a very nice crucifix for your, you can put it above the bed, wherever you decide, wherever you have your decorations. And once again, have a happy Easter, and thank you for being here with me. Don't forget, yeah, you can put the INRI, you can put all kinds of other stuff, but this is the whole idea on making the distressed wood thing, and it's not going to be so shiny once it's baked. Once it's baked, it's going to look exactly like this. So as you can see, it looks like wood. What? You want attentions? I don't think you heard him because he's squeaking. Okay. So thank you again. Don't forget the thumbs up. Don't forget the Pardo coupon. And don't forget that next Sunday we'll have another giveaway. Okay? And congratulations, Elaine. Happy claying and happy Easter. Have a wonderful Sunday. Bye.